The Mini 6 and Mini 7 are borderline identical. In fact, if you handed me one of these and I could only look at the front, I would not be able to tell you which one is which. In fact, I'm forgetting right now which one is which. That's because the design, the body cell, everything about it is virtually the same. But when it comes to how they actually perform and people who are, believe it or not, pushing their iPad mini to its limits, the iPad mini 7 definitely has some benefits. The Mini 7 has last year's A17 Pro chip that we first saw in the iPhone 15, whereas the Mini 6 has the older A15 chip, which is still a powerful chip for most of the things you need to do. They've also doubled the RAM and storage in the base model iPad Mini 7, so you now get 8 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage. Now, if I was someone who just wanted an iPad for browsing the internet, for reading books, for watching content, just regular consumer style things, which is most people, you should probably stick with the iPad Mini 6 if you already have it. If there are tasks that you say you'll be able to do with the iPad Mini 7 and you haven't already tried to do them with the Mini 6 and not been able to, stay with the Mini 6. It's really easy to say you're gonna start doing things, to say you're gonna play more games, to say you're gonna edit footage, to say you're gonna use Final Cut with 4K editing, all of this stuff, to say you need the extra transfer speed. But the iPad Mini 6 can do all of that stuff, just not as well. So if you really were gonna utilize that in your workflow, you would have already been trying to do that. You're not gonna add in a new step. And for me, that's exactly why I moved to the iPad Mini 7, because I do use it for those pro workflows, and I used my iPad Mini 6 for those pro workflows and actually hit those bottlenecks. I love to be able to load footage on my Mini, open DaVinci Resolve, and start cutting down my A-roll while I'm on a flight or in the car. I do this all the time, and I did it all the time with the Mini 6 and was running into limitations. For instance, the Mini 6 cannot edit 4K in DaVinci Resolve. It doesn't have the ability. You can't even open a 4K project. And so since all of my projects are 4K that I work on my actual Mac, if I then try to open them on my Mini, I'm not able to. The iPad Mini 7 can now also use Final Cut Pro for iPad, which granted I haven't used yet. I haven't had the time to dive into it, but if you're someone who is heavily using Final Cut Pro on your computer already and you've been looking for a mobile version, this can do it. Hey, how's it going? I'm editing this video you're watching right now, but I wanted to take a quick second to tell you about Artlist. Artlist is an all-in-one creative platform that has everything you could possibly need for content creation. We're talking music, stock footage, sound effects, templates, plugins.
Hey, don't forget about the AI voiceover features.
I didn't. And they now even have downloadable LUTs to color grade your footage. I use something from Artlist in pretty much every project, and with tools like their AI search, I can find the asset I'm looking for extremely quick. It makes my job so easy, I can just sit back and have a drink. That's a good self-blog. Artlist is not sponsoring this video. I genuinely believe in their product, and so I partnered with them to give you guys an additional 2 months free on your subscription. And if you're watching this during the holidays, you can get an additional 10% off. All you have to do is click the link in the description to get started. Now back to whatever I was talking about. And the last thing I want to say about performance is that if you plan on doing any kind of multitasking, the iPad Mini 7 definitely handles that better. It feels way more snappy going from app to app and switching back and forth. But again, ask yourself, how often are you actually using that feature on your Mini 6? This is a small screen. Multitasking on here is pretty hard. And I guess I should do a quick mention of Apple Intelligence. The Mini 6 will not be able to use it, whereas the Mini 7 will. However, most Apple Intelligence features aren't even out yet. So if the prospect of Apple Intelligence is a reason you're considering upgrading, just wait until those features are out. They're still gonna be selling this device, but you'll be able to tell more if these are things that you actually wanna use. Now let's say based on everything I've said, you still consider upgrading. Well, there's one last thing you need to take into consideration, and that is the Apple Pencil. If you're someone who uses an Apple Pencil with your iPad Mini 6 and you love that it attaches magnetically, you love that it charges without having to think about it, and you want that on the iPad Mini 7, you will have to spend another $129 to get the Apple Pencil Pro. The current Apple Pencil you have will not work with your iPad Mini 7. They changed the magnetic attachment system, so if you are wanting to upgrade and you want the Apple Pencil, that is an extra cost that you really need to consider. But because the iPad Mini 7 is actually going to get used for work, it's going to help me complete projects faster, I just shelled out that extra money, even though I really wish I didn't have to. So if after everything I said, you feel like you're someone who's just pushing your iPad mini 6 to the absolute limit and you need that more performance, or you just really want the Apple Pencil Pro support, I'd say go ahead and upgrade. Buy it from Apple, Best Buy, Amazon, buy it from somewhere that gives you a good return window. Try it out. See if you like it, see if it feels any different, see if it solves your need. Just don't fall into the trap of thinking you need to keep it because it's the newer one. And so again, I just want to reiterate, if you already have the Mini 6, 90% of you should just stick with this. Save your money, you're not gonna notice a difference. If you want that additional performance or you just wanna spend your money and have the newest and greatest thing, the iPad mini 7 is a great upgrade. But if you're okay buying used, you could pick up the iPad mini 6 with an Apple Pencil for like 220 bucks on the used market. So seriously, don't overlook how great the iPad mini 6 was when it came out and still is today. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this one, guys. If you've enjoyed this video, leave it a like, subscribe to see more videos like this, and leave a comment down below. I wanna know what you think. Do you have the iPad mini 6? Do you think the mini 7 is worth it, or are you skipping this one? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.